I met Isabela on a dating app. I remember staring at her profile for 20 minutes before I worked up the courage to send a message. I'd been on the app for 8 months and barely messaged anyone. My therapist had encouraged me to try online dating. She said I needed to push past my social anxiety. I was 46 years old and I'd never had a serious relationship. Work kept me busy. I was a systems analyst for a tech company in Portland. I was good at my job because it didn't require much face-to-face interaction. But I was lonely. Isabela's profile said she was 28 and from Manila. She had this bright smile in every photo. Her bio said she loved reading, cooking, and dreamed of visiting America someday. I sent a simple message. "Hi, I noticed you like reading. What's your favorite book?" She responded within 3 minutes. We talked for 6 hours that first night. She asked me about everything. My job, my hobbies, my family, what I wanted in life. No one had ever been that interested in me before. By the third day, we'd moved to video calls. She was even more beautiful on camera. She had long, dark hair and these warm brown eyes that made me feel seen, really seen. She'd call me every morning before I went to work and every evening when I got home. She wanted to know every detail of my day. "I feel like I've known you my whole life," she said on our 5th video call. "Is that crazy? I know we just met. But I feel this connection with you, Warren. Do you feel it too?" I did feel it. I'd never connected with anyone like this. 2 weeks in, she told me she loved me. We were on a video call. It was late for me, early morning for her. "Warren, I need to tell you something," she said. "I know it's fast. I know we haven't met in person yet. But I can't keep this inside anymore. I love you. I'm in love with you." My hands started shaking. No one had ever said those words to me before. "I love you too," I said. She started crying, happy tears. "I want to spend my life with you. I want to be your wife someday, Warren. I want to have your babies." We started talking about marriage. She sent me photos of wedding dresses. She asked what kind of wedding I wanted. "I just want to be your wife," she said. "That's all I've ever wanted." I was the happiest I'd ever been in my life. For the first time, I understood what everyone else had been experiencing all along. I should have known that nothing real ever feels like that. The first time Isabela asked for money, it seemed completely reasonable. We'd been together for 6 weeks. She called me crying one afternoon. "Warren, I'm so sorry to bother you at work," she said between sobs. "My phone is broken. I dropped it this morning and the screen shattered completely. I can't afford to fix it right now. I'm so scared. What if we can't talk?" "How much is it to fix?" I asked. "The repair shop said 8,000 pesos, she said. "That's about $150. But I don't have it. I'll send you the money." "It's fine." I sent her $200 through Western Union that afternoon. She called me back an hour later, happy and energetic. "Warren, you saved me. Thank you so much." 2 weeks later, her mother got sick. Her mother needed medication for her diabetes. They needed 15,000 pesos immediately, about $270. "Warren, I don't know what to do," she sobbed. "My mother is in pain. If she doesn't get it, she could go into diabetic shock." I sent $300 that night, but I started noticing a pattern. Every time Isabela was warm and affectionate, I just sent her money. Every time there was a gap between financial help, she'd become distant. Her messages would slow down. She'd be too busy to video call. Then there'd be another emergency. And after I sent money, suddenly she was available again. Suddenly she couldn't get enough of me. I told myself I was being paranoid. This was my social anxiety talking. Isabela loved me. She'd proven it over and over. But then she started asking about my financial situation. "Warren, you're so smart with computers," she said one evening. "You must make good money at your job." "I do okay," I said. "Do you own your apartment, or do you rent?" "I own it," I said. "I bought it 5 years ago." "That's amazing. You're so responsible, so stable. That's one of the things I love about you." At the time, it felt like a compliment. Looking back, I realized she was calculating my net worth. The roof on her parents' house needed repairs. By the end of the 3rd month, I'd sent her $2,400. I feel so guilty taking money from you, she said one night. I promise this won't be forever, Warren. Once I get my new job, I'll pay you back every single peso. Then she started comparing me to her ex-boyfriend, how he used to buy her jewelry, how he used to take her to nice restaurants, how generous he was. Of course, he wasn't as kind as you, she'd add quickly. You're generous with both money and your heart. But the comparisons started bothering me. I started sending her more money without her asking. I wanted to prove I was better than whoever this ex-boyfriend was. I was walking on eggshells. I started noticing that if I questioned anything, if I asked about expenses or timelines, she'd get hurt. She'd cry. She'd say I didn't trust her. And then I'd feel terrible. I'd apologize. 5 months in, Isabela started expressing concerns about my friends. I didn't have many friends. My social circle was limited to a few co-workers and an online gaming group. Who's Alex? Isabela asked one evening. What did you talk about? Just work stuff. Why? Does he know about me? She asked. Her voice had this edge to it. Yeah, I've mentioned you. Sometimes men keep their Filipina girlfriends a secret. They're embarrassed. Are you embarrassed of me, Warren? No. Of course not. Then why don't you post about me on social media? I check your Facebook and Instagram. There's nothing about me. It's like I don't exist in your life. I felt that familiar sensation in my chest. The tightness, the panic. I'll post something tonight, I said. The questions about my social interactions increased. If I mentioned getting lunch with a coworker, she needed to know who they were. If it was a woman, she needed to see the woman's social media profile. She started asking for my passwords. If we're going to be married, we shouldn't have secrets, she said. That's what couples do. They're transparent with each other. I gave her my passwords. Within a week, she was checking my messages regularly. She'd bring up conversations from days ago. She'd ask why I'd liked a female co-worker's photo. My online gaming group was the next target. I'd been gaming with the same group of guys for 8 years. It's Wednesday, she said one evening. That means you're gaming with your friends tonight. Yeah, in about an hour. She got quiet. That silence I'd learned to dread. What's wrong? I asked. Nothing. I just thought, maybe we could spend time together tonight. But your game is more important. We spend time together every night, I said. Of course it's normal, she said. Her voice was flat. You should do what makes you happy. Don't worry about me. I'll just sit here alone while you have fun with your friends. I cancelled my gaming session that night. I started cancelling more gaming sessions. Then I stopped showing up entirely. My co-worker friendships started deteriorating too. Isabela wanted to video call during my lunch breaks. So I started eating lunch alone at my desk, on video calls with her, instead of getting lunch with co-workers. I was constantly worried about Isabela's feelings, about making her happy, about proving my commitment. The financial requests had escalated too. We were 6 months in, and I'd sent her over $8,000. Then she brought up the suicide threat. We were 7 months in. We'd gotten into an argument about something I can't even remember what. I can't do this anymore, she said. She was crying. Hard. Gasping sobs. I can't keep fighting for us when you don't even want me. I do want you, I said. Isabela, please calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. You don't care about me. If you loved me, you wouldn't make me feel like this. I'm in so much pain, Warren. The only thing keeping me alive is you. And if you don't want me anymore, then I don't want to be alive. My blood went cold. What do you mean? I mean I can't live without you. If you leave me, I'll kill myself. I will, Warren. You're the only good thing in my life. If I lose you, I lose everything. Don't say that. Please don't say that. It's true. You're responsible for me now. And if you abandon me like everyone else, I won't survive it. My blood will be on your hands. I stayed on the phone with her for 4 hours that night, reassuring her, telling her I wasn't going anywhere. I felt trapped. I felt responsible for another human being's life. If I left her and something happened to her, it would be my fault. I was exhausted. I was walking on eggshells every day. I'd lost my friends. I'd stopped doing the things I enjoyed. I was sending money I couldn't really afford. But this was love, right? This was what commitment looked like. 8 months in, I started questioning my own memory. Isabela would say something definitive, make a clear statement or promise, and then days later deny she'd ever said it. "You told me you'd start paying me back this month," I said one evening. I'd sent her $12,000 over the past 8 months. "I never said that," Isabela responded. Her expression was calm, almost confused. "Yes, you did. 2 weeks ago, you said you got a job at a call center." "Warren, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm still looking for work." "I never said I had a job." "Are you feeling okay? You seem confused lately." "I'm not confused. Honestly, Warren, this is worrying me. You're remembering things that didn't happen. Have you been stressed at work? Maybe you should see your therapist. You might be having anxiety-related memory problems." I pulled up our message history. I scrolled back 2 weeks. But I couldn't find the conversation. Had we talked about it on video call? Had I imagined it? "Maybe you're right," I said. "I'm sorry." She'd make requests, and then deny making them. She'd promise things, and then act like those promises had never existed. I started taking screenshots of our conversations. I started recording our video calls on my computer without telling her. I needed proof. I needed to know I wasn't losing my mind. The gaslighting intensified whenever I questioned money. I'd sent her $15,000 by month 9. I was dipping into my retirement account. "Isabela, I need you to start paying me back," I said one night. "I'm running out of savings." "You're acting like I'm forcing you to send money." "I've never asked you for anything, Warren." "You offer, but now you're throwing it in my face like I'm some kind of gold digger." "I'm not saying you're a gold digger. I'm just saying I can't afford to keep helping. Your own finances, your money, not our money." "That's not how marriage works, Warren." "We're not married yet," I said quietly. "So you're planning to marry me, but you won't share your money with me. What kind of husband are you going to be?" I sent her $2,000 the next day, to prove I loved her. The victim reversal became her primary weapon. Every time I tried to address something she'd done, she'd flip the script. Suddenly, I was the one who'd done something wrong. "You haven't called me in 3 days," I said one afternoon. She'd been distant, barely, responding to messages. "I've been dealing with a family crisis. My father had a heart attack. I've been at the hospital, but sure, let's make this about you and your needs." "Your father had a heart attack? Why didn't you tell me?" "I tried to tell you, but you were too busy complaining about not getting enough attention." "Everything has to be about you, Warren." I couldn't win. Every conversation became a trap. My mental health was deteriorating rapidly. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating properly. I'd lost 15 pounds. "You look sick," my sister said during a video call. "Warren, what's going on with you?" "I'm fine. Just work stress." "This isn't work stress. You look like you haven't slept in weeks. How much money have you sent her?" "I'm not discussing my finances with you." "Warren, I'm worried about you. This woman, is she good to you? Is this relationship healthy?" "It's fine. Every relationship has challenges." "Challenges, yes, but you shouldn't look like you're dying. That's not what love is supposed to do to you." I was angry at my sister for questioning Isabela, but her words haunted me. "You shouldn't look like you're dying." I looked in the mirror that night. Really looked. I had dark circles under my eyes. My skin looked gray. I looked 10 years older than I had a year ago. I felt like I was constantly underwater, constantly struggling to breathe. The hot and cold cycle was the worst part. She'd go days being cold, distant, barely responsive. During these periods, I'd be frantic, sending messages asking if she was okay, apologizing for things I couldn't even name. Then suddenly, she'd be warm again, affectionate, loving, and I'd feel relief. Such intense relief. I didn't realize I was being conditioned. I didn't realize the withdrawal of affection was punishment and the return of affection was reward. But I couldn't leave. I'd isolated myself from friends. I barely talked to my family. I'd spent $18,000 on her. If I left now, all of that would be wasted, and she'd made it clear what would happen if I left. She'd threatened suicide so many times. I was trapped. Financially, emotionally, psychologically. I didn't know what was real anymore. 11 months in, I got a letter in the mail that changed everything. It was from the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office. I stared at the return address for a full minute before opening it. The letter stated that Isabela Reyes had filed for a restraining order against me. I read that sentence 5 times. It didn't make sense. A restraining order against me from Isabela, the woman I loved, the woman I'd sent nearly $20,000 to. I called the number on the letter immediately. According to the filing, the petitioner alleges you've been harassing her online, making threats, and engaging in stalking behavior. The clerk said, "The hearing is scheduled for November 3rd. You should bring any evidence to refute these claims." I tried calling Isabela. It went straight to voicemail. I tried again. Voicemail. She'd blocked me. Completely. Phone, messaging apps, social media. Every avenue of communication was gone. I hired a lawyer. His name was Dennis. I told him everything. How we met. How quickly she said she loved me. The constant contact, the money requests, the isolation from friends, the suicide threats, the gaslighting. As I talked, I heard myself describing the relationship out loud for the first time. It sounded different, spoken aloud. It sounded worse. "How much money have you sent her?" Dennis asked. "About $20,000. Maybe a little more." Dennis put his pen down and looked at me directly. "Warren, I need to ask you something. Did you ever threaten her?" "No, never." "Did you contact her after being asked not to?" "She never asked me not to contact her. She called me every day, until 3 days ago when she blocked me completely." Dennis leaned back in his chair. "Warren, I'm going to be straight with you. This is a scam. This is a con. She's not filing this restraining order because she's afraid of you. She's filing it as an exit strategy." "What do you mean?" "I mean, she got what she needed from you financially, and now she's creating a legal paper trail that paints you as the aggressor. If you try to get your money back, she has documentation that you're a stalker. It protects her from any potential legal action you might take." "But she loved me," I said. "Warren, she didn't love you. She targeted you. Everything you've described, the love bombing, the isolation, the financial extraction, the suicide threats, the gaslighting, these are textbook manipulation tactics. This was never real." I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. "I've seen this before," Dennis said. "There are organized groups that specifically target Western men. They train women in manipulation techniques. They teach them how to extract maximum money before disappearing. She threatened to kill herself if I left her, multiple times. That's called suicide baiting. It's an abuse tactic. It's designed to trap you through fear and guilt. Warren, she was never going to kill herself. That was emotional blackmail." I started crying. I hadn't cried in years. But I sat in this lawyer's office and I cried. "I need you to gather every piece of documentation you have," Dennis said. "Bank transfers, screenshots of conversations, call logs, everything." Over the next week, I compiled everything. I had screenshots of hundreds of conversations. I had her asking for money. I had her suicide threats. I had bank records showing $23,400 in transfers. I also started researching. I Googled Filipina girlfriend scam. I found thousands of stories. Men from America, Canada, Australia, UK, all describing the same pattern I'd experienced. I found forums full of men like me, men who'd sent $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 to women they'd never met in person. I found articles about romance scams targeting lonely men, about organized crime groups running these operations. One article used a term I'd never heard before: emotional manipulation romance scam. The article described the tactics point by point: love bombing, future faking, isolation, gaslighting, financial extraction, suicide baiting, Exit strategy. Every single thing Isabela had done to me was on this list. It wasn't just me. I wasn't crazy. This was a real, documented pattern of abuse. The restraining order hearing came. I walked into the courthouse, with Dennis carrying a folder 3 inches thick with evidence. Isabela didn't show up. Dennis presented our evidence. The bank transfers proving I'd sent her money willingly. The screenshots of her asking for money repeatedly. The messages where she said she loved me and wanted to marry me. The suicide threats. The fact that she'd blocked me only after receiving the most recent payment. The judge looked through everything. She asked me direct questions. "Mr. Mitchell, did you ever threaten Miss Reyes or her family?" "No, Your Honor, never." "Did you contact her after being asked to stop?" "She never asked me to stop, Your Honor. She contacted me constantly until 3 days before I received notice of this hearing." The judge denied the restraining order. She said there was insufficient evidence to demonstrate that I posed a threat. "Mr. Mitchell, I'm going to give you some advice," the judge said. "Whatever this relationship was, it wasn't healthy. Based on the evidence you've presented, you were the victim of financial exploitation and emotional abuse. Do not attempt to contact Miss Reyes. Do not attempt to recover your money. Cut your losses and move on." I walked out of the courthouse feeling empty. I'd won, but I didn't feel victorious. I felt destroyed. I'd lost $23,400. I'd lost 11 months of my life. I'd lost my friends. I'd lost my mental health. And I'd never even met her in person. It's been 14 months since the restraining order hearing. I'm in therapy twice a week. My therapist specializes in trauma and abuse recovery. She was the one who explained to me that what I experienced was psychological abuse. "You have complex PTSD," she told me, "from emotional and financial abuse. This is real trauma, Warren. I'm on antidepressants now, Lexapro, 20 milligrams daily. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was having panic attacks. I reported the scam to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center. The agent I spoke with said they receive thousands of reports every year. Most victims never see their money returned. But the financial loss isn't even the worst part. It's the psychological damage. It's the erosion of self-trust. It's the lingering question. How did I not see it? My therapist keeps telling me, you didn't see it because you weren't supposed to see it. These scammers are professionals. I've learned a lot about manipulation tactics over the past year. I can name every tactic Isabela used now. Love bombing, the excessive affection, the constant contact, the quick, "I love you." It was all designed to overwhelm my rational thinking, future faking. All the talk about marriage, babies, growing old together, none of it was real. Isolation, slowly separating me from friends, family, hobbies, making me dependent on her for all emotional needs. Financial extraction, the escalating money requests, disguised as emergencies, training me to equate sending money with receiving affection. Gaslighting, denying things she'd said, making me question my memory, systematically destroying my self-trust. Trauma bonding, the hot and cold cycle. Withdrawal of affection as punishment, return of affection as reward. Suicide, baiting, threatening to kill herself if I left, making me responsible for her life. Victim reversal. Every time I raised a concern, she'd flip it and make herself the victim. Every single one of these tactics has a name. They're documented. Isabela didn't invent them. She learned them. I've tried to find information about her online. I found 3 other men on Reddit who described similar experiences with a woman named Isabela from Manila. Different last name, but same photos, same tactics. One of them had sent her $45,000 over 2 years. Another had sent $18,000 in 6 months. We all thought we were her only victim. We were all being worked simultaneously. I feel stupid admitting this. I feel ashamed, but my therapist reminds me, intelligence doesn't protect you from emotional manipulation. These scammers specifically target smart, successful men because you have more money to extract. I haven't dated since Isabela. I can't imagine trusting someone again. I reconnected with my sister. She drove down from Seattle last month. We talked about everything. She just hugged me and said she was glad I was okay. I'm trying to reconnect with my old gaming group. I reached out to them. They were understanding. I've started playing with them again on Wednesday nights. My bank account is recovering slowly. I'm rebuilding my savings. My financial advisor helped me set up better safeguards. I still have bad days. Days where I replay everything and hate myself for being so blind. Days where I wonder if I'll ever be able to trust anyone again. My therapist says this hypervigilance is part of PTSD, that it will decrease over time, that I can heal. If you're reading this and something sounds familiar, please listen to me. These are the red flags I missed. She said, "I love you" within the first week. Real love takes time to develop. She wanted constant contact immediately. That's not love. That's control. She talked about marriage and babies before we'd even met. Future faking is designed to create investment in a future that will never exist. Every money request was an emergency. There was always a crisis. She isolated me from friends and family. Slowly but systematically. She made me responsible for her emotional state and her life. Suicide threats whenever I tried to set boundaries. She denied things I clearly remembered her saying. Made me question my own memory. If you're in this now, here's what I wish someone had told me. It's not real. It doesn't matter how genuine it feels. If you haven't met in person and she's asking for money, it's not real. She's not going to kill herself. That's emotional blackmail. You are not responsible for another adult's life choices. You can leave. Block her number. Block her on everything. Go completely no contact. Get help. Find a therapist who specializes in trauma or abuse. Talk to someone you trust. Report it. File reports with the FBI IC3, with local police, with the dating platform where you met. Your money is gone. Accept it now. She's not going to pay you back. I'm still healing. Some days are better than others. I still have moments where I miss the feeling of being loved, even though I know now that feeling was manufactured. I'm 47 now. I lost a year of my life and $23,400 to a woman I never met in person. A woman whose name might not even actually be Isabela. I want to be angry. Sometimes I am angry, but mostly I'm just sad. But I'm also grateful. Grateful I got out when I did. Grateful I didn't send more. Grateful I found out the truth. To anyone who made it through this entire story, if you recognized yourself here, get out now, today. Don't wait. The moment someone you've never met asks you for money, the relationship is over. It was never real. I know that now. I paid $23,400 and 11 months of psychological torture to learn that lesson. You don't have to make the same mistake I did.